Today, I'm talking to Renee Moore. She's the owner, founder, and editor-in-chief of Kirkwood City Lifestyle magazine. As soon as I met Renee at a local Kirkwood Chamber of Commerce meeting, I knew I had to have her on the podcast. She is absolutely vibrant, indeed probably one of the best storytellers I've ever met. I love following her on social. She's always out and about, meeting some of the most exciting people in St. Louis. Tune in. I hope you enjoy my conversation with Renee as much as I did. Renee, thank you. Thank you so much for hopping on this. I know you're busy and you don't have tons of time, but I'm excited to hear your story and share it with everybody else.
Dawn, I thank you so much for inviting me to be part of your podcast. I'm honored and flattered and just thrilled to be here. So thank you so much.
So we met through Kirkwood Chamber of Commerce, and I was just fascinated by your gumption. Once you told me your origin story, I don't know, I thought it was fascinating. So do you maybe want to start there and talk about how you came to be the owner publisher of Kirkwood City Lifestyle magazine?
Sure. It's a simple story. So my degree is in business. I have a business degree from Missouri State University. And after college, I went to go work for Pfizer, and I worked in their brand, new product launches. And what you learn really fast in that world is that when you want to connect a brand to an audience, telling that brand's story is the best way to do that. And I was really fortunate to work on some amazing brands that had amazing stories behind it. So I got really, really good at the nuances of how to tell a story and like how to make those connections. So after about 20 years of working at Pfizer, I left and started doing my own thing, and continued to look for ways to find out how to connect brands to audiences, and did a couple of different things in between there. And then one day I was at lunch with a client of mine, and he was like, "Hey, Renee, you need to go and find a way to tell stories." And I was like, "I don't know how to do that." And he's like, "You just need to go find a way." And I was like, "Okay, well, I'm not sure how that works." So funny enough, how the world works, I was sitting at a Starbucks in Chicago, waiting for my son to finish up a thing that he was doing in Chicago. And something popped up on my phone that said, "Do you want to buy a magazine?" And I was like, "Well, that sounds interesting." And so I looked into it, and it's a franchise. And so I bought it in 2019 and launched it in February of 2020. And to all the excitement of, this is going to be a great product, it's going to be fantastic, we're just going to conquer the world with this little magazine. And then the pandemic hit. But the good news is everyone was at home reading. And so it was kind of an interesting time, right? But so not a great time to launch a business, but also a great time to launch a magazine. So interesting how that all worked out. But that's the story.
Well, but it wasn't as easy as all that. I mean,
No.
you make it sound really easy. And I know that it wasn't, because you had to kind of knock on doors.
Yeah, it's not
Right?
easy. It's not easy. It is not easy. So the hard part, the truly hard part is one, I'm not from Kirkwood. So that's incredibly hard to say that I'm starting this magazine called Kirkwood City Lifestyle. So two challenges. One, I'm starting a brand new magazine that doesn't exist, never existed, in a city that I don't live in. And it's called Kirkwood City Lifestyle, but it doesn't just go to Kirkwood. It goes to Kirkwood, Webster Groves, Worcester Woods, Glendale. And so there's like complications that go along with that I didn't even know about, like I didn't even expect. But I'm optimistic, and I love connecting people and brands. And so I just started knocking on doors to advertisers that I think would be great fits for the magazine. And, here's the deal. All of my partners, my advertising partners for the magazine, undoubtedly love the community that they live in, the community that their businesses are in. So theoretically they got the magazine first, right? Like when I say they got it, like it clicked in their brain that they made a connection to it, right?
Right.
But still, it was asking for their commitment to a magazine that didn't even exist. All I could show them was prototypes of magazines, of other magazines in the country. And I'm like, ours will kind of look like this, but it will tell Kirkwood stories, Webster Grove stories. Anyway, but it happened. It was hard. Okay, so listen. So you build the you have to sell all the ads before you launch your magazine, and then you launch it. And when you launch it, you think, oh, this is going to at least, work out and we'll just grow the magazine from there. But when you launch in February of 2020 and March of 2020, all the businesses close, their advertising dollars go away too. And so that was a huge, everyone was struggling, but that was just we started and then it just dropped. So it was hard. It was hard to manage. It was hard to go out and talk to all the advertisers, but here's what I'll say. Like, I truly had a vision for it of what I wanted this magazine to be and the kind of stories I wanted to tell. And so, it was really, really hard, but I kind of figured out pretty quickly what businesses are community centric and just start conversations with those businesses. Does that make sense?
So, yeah, it does. And it's so smart, but it's still so brave. And it was just such a big challenge at such an unknown time. So I just didn't want to gloss over that, because when
you're so sweet.
When you first told me the story, I was just like, that wasn't inevitable that you would have succeeded the way that you did. And I don't know, I just find that so impressive.
You're so nice. Listen, here, I'm going to just say this. When I say we, I always talk about the magazine and we, it's pretty much just me. And I'm not just saying that, but when I say we, it is all of my advertising partners. It is every single one of them, and every single accomplishment we get it together. Like, I'm constantly emailing them every month, like, you guys, here's what we're doing this month. And we did this and we're doing this together. So this is definitely not a Renee Moore thing. This is a we thing with all of my advertisers who have been with me since 2020 and continue to be with me going forward. It is a tribute to them, not to me.
You did all the hard work. You take the credit. So, okay, it says Kirkwood City Lifestyle, but it's not just for Kirkwood, right?
Yeah, when you buy the franchise, they tell you what to call your magazine. They give you the name of it, and then they give you the zip codes that it goes to. It's all based on demographics and distribution and all of that. So the magazine is called Kirkwood City Lifestyle Magazine, but you're right, it does go to Webster, Warson Woods, Glendale, parts of Oakland, anybody that lives in 63122 and 63119. But here's the interesting part. Okay, so we talked about the chamber. We hit on the chamber for a second. When I started the magazine, I joined the chamber. So the chamber is the Kirkwood Des Peres area Chamber of Commerce. So instantly, Des Peres is in 63131 zip code. So instantly people were like, wait a minute, I wanted to get the copy of the magazine, and 63131 wasn't in my mail route. And so, but I was like, oh my gosh, I love that people love the magazine. So now, like, half of 63131, the part that feeds into Kirkwood High School and like surrounds Kirkwood, all of those people get the magazine too. So it just makes me so happy and honored that people are like, wait a minute, I want this magazine. So it's a very moving, humbling experience to know that people are reading this. Because you know what? I didn't think people would read it in the beginning. Oh my gosh, listen, when the magazine first started, listen to this. This is so true. When the magazine, February of 2020, when I put so much like heart and soul into the stories that I told in that magazine. And then I didn't hear anything from anybody, crickets, nothing. And so then the March issue of 2020 came out and I didn't hear anything. And I told somebody, I'm like, I could just start putting like music lyrics in stories or like ABC or like nursery rhymes, and no one will know because no one's reading it. And then little by little, people just started reading it. And now I am shocked when people are like, oh, I read your magazine. I'm like, oh, and when it's, here's the thing too, Dawn, wait, listen to this. So when it's people that you don't expect to read it, like men who are like 75 years old, like, and I'm not saying anything, but like, it's crazy to think that they're reading the stories in the magazine. So I always think about those, that audience when I'm writing the stories.
Well, okay. And so that brings us to the stories. Like, what kind of stories are you featuring? What kind of stories are you writing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the broad answer is the people, places, and things that make living in Kirkwood and Webster Groves, 62122, 62119 really interesting and special. So it's very hyper focused, right? But I always love finding stories of people who haven't been in other media, like the unknown stories, right? The uncovered stories. And so listen, honestly, since I don't live in Kirkwood or Webster, I immediately went to my advertisers who again, love the community, right? And it was this great partnership of, okay, you guys, we're going to build this magazine. So I'll put it together, but you guys tell me who I should focus on. And so the good news is every month there's a different theme. So like June was men's issue, July that we're in right now is the summer issue, August coming up is the kids and pets issue. So every month has a different theme. So it was so great to be able to go to these advertising partners and say, okay, here's the issue for the theme for the month. Who should I be talking to? And Dawn, they flooded me with story ideas of like, you should talk to this person, and you should do that. And they got so excited because I'm either telling their story or their client's story or their friend's story or the charity that they support story. And I think everything's great because everything's new to me, right? I'm like, oh, Green Tree Festival. I don't even know what that is, but that's a thing. Of course, we're going to talk about it. Oh, Webster Groves has a jazz festival. I don't know what that is, but it sounds great to me. Like, let's start. So I was new to everything. So everything sounded great to me. And they were just excited to feed me stories. So for the first 3 years, most of my stories came from my advertisers about the connections to the community. And then stories from my people I met through the chamber were like, oh, you should talk to this person. And so I just trusted those people and said, they understand the type of storytelling that I want to be sharing with this audience. And I just leaned into them and trusted them, and it's worked out marvelously.
That I love that it's all weaving together because it really it feels like such a community builder.
Yeah. Do you want to know a funny story?
Yes.
Okay, so the June issue of Kirkwood Lifestyle Magazine last month. Yeah, so last month had the cover. It featured Tim Convey and Chris Convey on the cover. So a year ago, or maybe even 2 years ago, I interviewed Greg Warren, who is this fabulous comedian. And if you don't know who he has a great YouTube special out right now called The Salesman, and it's wonderful and family friendly. Everyone, like, take your family on a Saturday night, go sit down in front of the TV, turn on The Salesman. It's the greatest thing in the world. Okay, so a year ago or 2 years ago, Greg was like, Renee, you should interview Tim. And I was like, okay, I'm not sure where the story is. But then another person, Mike Wilcox, the mayor of Glendale, I sat down with him and he's like, Renee, you should interview Chris. And I'm like, I don't know who these people are. Like, I don't know what the story is. I don't know what these people are. And so I trust Greg and I trust Mike. And so they get the magazine, like they get it, right? It clicks with their brain. And so I was like, okay, let's set up an interview. And it was the greatest. I was immediately shocked by like how I had no expectation of what the story was going to be. And now it's like one of my favorite stories ever because I was shocked and delighted by these two men who do amazing things. And I'm like, how has nobody told your story before? And honored that I get to be the first person to tell it. And also, thank you, Greg Warren and Mike Wilcox, for telling me about this story. So that is how stories get developed.
That seems like the most fun, the most fun job. Like that's your job. That's your life.
It's so fun. It's so fun and so delightful. And the fact that I can bring people in to share in this is beyond exciting for me.
So do you want people to send you story ideas?
Yes, I do. I do. And so I do. And I just had a girl the other day. I think her name is Lauren. I'm really bad with remembering names. So Lauren, if I messed your name up, I'm sorry. But she just emailed me and she's like, hey, Renee, I put together a pickleball team for like, I'm a new mom in Kirkwood. I don't know how to meet people. So I put together a pickleball team to try to meet people. And I was like, well, that sounds great. And she's like, and we've grown now. And we have this whole thing and there's a whole story behind it. And I was like, come on, anytime a mom can help another mom and we make a mom connection, I am all in favor of that. So again, thank you so much. Of course, we'll do a story on that. So I love that. So yes, bring me your story ideas.
Awesome. Okay. Where should they send them?
So they can email me. So at Renee, Renee, .moore, MOORE at citylifestyle.com.
Nice.
Yeah, or they can just call me on my cell phone, which is probably the best way. Okay.
Really? You want me to put your cell phone number like in
No, maybe not. Maybe not. You're right. But it is really the best way to talk to me. But you're right. Don't do that.
That would be overwhelming. Okay. So I don't like so many avenues because okay, if you don't want to talk about family, we can
No,
skip.
we can talk about whatever you want to talk about, John.
But I feel like it's just such a natural, you're like when a mom makes a mom connection.
Yes.
Other thing is you have 2 boys.
I have 2 boys.
And I love hearing your mom stories. And I think you guys are like the best parents because where were you when you got the thing on your phone that was like own a magazine? You said I was doing something for my son, but you were doing something really cool for your son, I thought.
I mean, it's so my son was at Second City. He performed at Second City during high school. So during his junior year at high school, he spent the summers at Second City working in the comedy program there. So he's a comedian. So that was the summer of his senior year, or the summer of his junior year, going to a senior year. I spent the summer in Chicago with him. We rented an Airbnb and I stayed up there. I didn't think a 17-year-old should live by himself in Chicago. For the summer, yeah. So I was at the Starbucks under Second City. There's a wonderful, it's my favorite Starbucks in the whole world. It's big, it's huge. And so I would sit downstairs during the day and I would work, and then he would be upstairs taking all his classes, and then we'd come home. So I was sitting outside and that popped up on my screen, and so my son is he wants to be a comedian. And he does stand up. And so right now, so he finished his work or his classes at Second City, and he goes to DePaul University, and DePaul has a comedy arts program. So here's what I always tell people. Are you ready? I always tell people this. Your kid can go to DePaul University and they can major in law, or they can major in journalism, or they can major in business, or they can major in comedy, and it all costs the same. And so while law students are learning about, tort law and compliance, my kid is taking class in like pranks. Like literally that's a class that he took. It was called Pranks. And I'm like, love that. No, it's all good. I'm very happy for him. He's excited. And so he's going to be a senior this year. And right now he works at the Comedy Bar in Chicago, and he does stand up on Mondays and Thursdays there.
Oh, that's awesome. Does he feature a lot of family life, like old stories from growing up?
Yeah. Have I shared that with you? Do you know that?
No, I was just asking. I was like,
Oh, he
what's
does.
his material? Like, where
He
does
does.
it spring from?
He does. He does. He does. And the reason I asked that is because he has a great story about growing up, and he has a story about going to Ben Franklin. Do you know
Yes.
the little Ben
Yeah.
Franklin stories? Yeah, he has a story about going to Ben Franklin with his friends, and comedy ensues from there. So yes, he has you know what the great thing is? His comedy is clean and really family friendly, and just tells stories about his life. And you're right, like his relationships with us as parents, and his brother, and my dad as grandpa, and he just has funny stories that are just heartwarming and comical.
I love it. I love story. I think I don't know. I mean, you've set him on the path to be the next Seth Meyers. And I'm just like, that's amazing, you know?
I don't know if we've done that, but listen, here's what we said. You can get a degree in comedy, and it doesn't, like, that will help you in anything. So you can go out and you can go into sales, or you can go into communications, or you can go into public relations, or you can do anything. I mean, the degree in comedy just allows you to be present and in the moment with an audience, right? And then that whole yes and training that you learn in improv just teaches you to really be a good listener and respond based on really good listening. So hopefully he'll, stay out of jail. That's what we're hoping. That's what
right.
I'm just kidding.
No, I just feel like as a mom, you're constantly like worried, like, can I keep you alive? Can I keep you alive? Can I keep you alive? And sometimes you send the message of like, don't do anything dangerous. Don't take a risk.
Yeah. But he called me the other day. So so my other son lives in San Francisco, and he works at an advertising agency in San Francisco. So both boys were so for Christmas we gave them tickets to the Grateful Dead's last show in San Francisco. So that just happened over the weekend. And so they were there, and they called
the best parents ever.
I don't know. That's what they wanted. So we gave it to him. So they went to two Grateful Dead shows, the one on Friday and the one on Sunday, the last one. And my son called me on Sunday before they went to the Dead show, and he's like, hey, don't get mad at me. He's like, I'm going to color my hair. So my son, who's a comedian, he's like, I'm going to color my hair. And I'm like, dude, when have I ever gotten mad at you? I'm like, in 21 years, when have I ever gotten mad? I'm like, oh, my only rules for you are don't do drugs and kind of stay out of trouble, like, like that's it. Like, go color your hair. I'm fine with that. Make it a rainbow color. I don't care. I'll do all the things to your hair. Like, so yeah, I just want them to be their best selves,
Yeah, but I don't know. You are, I think you're minimizing it because it's hard to let go and be like, do this scary thing.
Yeah.
But it is also like looking back over your own life, looking back over my life, I'm like, all the things I did that were worthwhile were very scary.
Yeah. 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 I think there's value in taking risks and being scared. I will say, honestly, Dawn, I think I live most of my life scared every day. Like, truly, like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. I just know you got to just do the best you can do. But I mostly live terrified every day. Yeah, I'm mostly just terrified.
And that circles us right back around to the business conversation, which is, where did that courage come from to start this big business when you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm going to go, here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to go back to my conversation that with my friend, now my business partner, one of my advertisers. His name's Tom Murphy. And I'm going to go back to, we were sitting at Bread Company, and he's the one who said, go out and do your thing. And I just have to say that conversation was pivotal. Like, something just sparked in me. And I was like, well, if Tom thinks I can do this, then why is Tom telling me this? Like, what does he see in me that I don't see? Do you know what I mean? And I value him as a business owner. He owns Sonus Benefits, which is an employee benefits company in Sunset Hills. And he owns a wealth management company. So he's so much smarter than I am. And so if this human who is so much smarter than I am, and who has met more people than I could ever imagine meeting, thinks that I can do this, then I think I can do this. And can I just say that that's the power of mentorship? I mean, right? And so every day I feel terrified, but I also feel an obligation to all of the people who believe that I can do this to go do this. Does that make sense? Like, I'm terrified, but they're counting on me. Like, they believe in me. Does that make sense? Like, it's scary, but it's also very like, I don't know, they think I can do it. So let's just keep going.
Right. I love that. I love that. So you mentioned mentorship, and
Yeah.
did he bring you into the chamber? Was that something different? How was the chamber part of the business plan? How was the chamber helped?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Tom was part of the chamber. So Sonus Benefits is an employee benefits company. So they're a part of a lot of different chambers. Yeah.
Can I pause you for a second? You are currently the president of the chamber, right?
I am the chair of the board of directors chair. So the chairman. So Peg is the president. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to cut that part out.
Okay. Yeah. So Tom is a member of many chambers, but one of the things that I did do when I started the business, since I don't live in Kirkwood and since I don't know anything about businesses, joining the chamber is a no-brainer, right? For any business, joining the chamber is a no-brainer. I mean, if your business needs to meet other people to make your business succeed, I don't know that there's any other way to do that other than join a chamber and get involved. And so, so I knocked on the door at the chamber and I was like, hey, I'm new, I'm starting a magazine. And you got, Dawn, the second I walked into the Kirkwood chamber, Peg Weathers, the president and CEO, was there, and Beth Weideman and Iris were all in the office, and they were like so encompassing, and the magazine hadn't even launched yet. They don't even know me I literally walked off the street and I was like, hi, I don't know, I'm Renee, I'm starting a magazine. And they're like, come on in, here's who you should talk to. We'll put your magazines in here. Here's all the things you should get involved. I was like, it was like the best reception that a new business could ever have. And it was so altruistic. It was so heartfelt. It was so pure and genuine from all three of those women that I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to kind of hang out here every day. And so it's easy for me to champion the chamber because they were such champions of me in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt the same way. I walked in and, you know, like Peg's just got this, like, just looks you straight. Like she just looks right into you.
Yeah.
Your hand. And she's like, let's do it.
Yes.
So
yeah,
it's amazing.
It's amazing. So my advice to everyone who's starting a business is yes, join a chamber, but don't just join. You have to get involved. Like you do have to go to things. You do have to set up one-on-ones like you and I had. You have to make those connections. You've got to really get to know people. And it's all about that developing relationships, right? And figuring out just who you're connecting with. And that's the power of it. I hate the word networking. It's not networking. Literally, it's like understanding people, like, who are you and what is your story and how did you get started? And just having this natural curiosity, having nothing to do with business, but everything to do with who are you? Like, who are you?
That's like, that seems to be a theme running through. Like you are doing that. Like you do that naturally. You bought a magazine to build community. Then you walked in, started building community. I don't know. It's not networking. It's getting to know people.
Getting to know people. People are fascinating to me. Fascinating, right?
Yes. Yes. That's what when you and I met, I was like, I love her.
So sweet. Oh, thank you.
I was serious. Like we did not know each other. I met you once. You're like, call me. And so I was like, hey, you want to go have coffee? And then we had coffee, and that was the 3 hour.
It was a 3 hour conversation.
So great. It was so great. So
It didn't feel like 3 hours. Like it just felt like we need to go deeper. Do you know what I mean?
I know, and it was so wonderful. It was so wonderful meeting you and getting to know you, and also
you made it easy.
I don't know. I do love the chamber. Now, you ready to switch to St. Louis Lightning Round?
I am.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
What's your favorite Saturday afternoon activity in or around St. Louis?
Great. So I have 2 dogs. And so every Saturday, I really do. My husband's name is Jay. We do love our dogs. And so our favorite thing to do is take them for a walk. And so we try to walk them everywhere, like every new park, every new place. And so that's our favorite thing, is getting up in the morning and getting coffee and then going to take our dogs for a walk. That's our Saturday. Yeah, we don't do anything before noon with anybody else. Like our dogs have our morning time on our Saturdays. That's awesome. It's our favorite thing.
So what's their favorite park?
Listen, they're pretty, I'm looking at them, they're just sitting here by me. They love any park that they can run around and just be wild in. So, and they love anything. They're easy.
Favorite weekend trip within driving distance of St. Louis?
Okay, I love Memphis. Does Memphis get enough attention? I love all the blues, I love live music. I love live blues music. I love it. I love everything about Memphis. Just park me on Beale Street and I am happy. And also that Bass Pro Pyramid tower hotel thing. Yep. Can I just tell you, that's my favorite Bass Pro shop. I do love Bass Pro shops, but that is my favorite Bass Pro shop in the world. It's got trees, like cypress trees growing inside of it, and there's like a hotel in there where you can.
Where you're like, hey, it's so wild. It's so wild because we take the elevator to the top.
It's the greatest. I love it so much. So that's my favorite. I love Memphis. Everything about it.
So this is not the first time Bass Pro has been. Other people love the Bass Pro in Springfield. Have you been there?
So I used to live in Springfield. So Jay, after college, Jay and I bought our first house in Springfield after we got married. So we lived in Springfield for almost 2 years before we moved to New Jersey and New York. So people, when I worked for the pharmaceutical company, people would come to Springfield to work with me, but not to work with me. They would come from the corporate office to go see Bass Pro Shop in Springfield. Yeah, I got really tired of that. But I do love Bass Pro.
Over the Springfield Bass Pro Shop.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite family vacation within driving distance of St. Louis?
Yeah, I am going to say, okay, so every year, do you know this? Did I tell you this? Every year we go to Minnesota. Yeah, for snowmobiling. Yeah, it's the greatest thing. So we take the boys ever since they were little. We go to Brainerd, Minnesota. And we stay I'm going to just plug everything. We go to Brainerd, Minnesota, go stay at Craigens, Craigun's, Craigens Resort. It's the greatest resort in the entire world. It's right on the lake. It's right on Lake Brainerd, and go rent snowmobiles every day. And then it is exhilarating. And I can't tell you how much I love snowmobiling. And we snowmobile in like -30-degree weather at night. It is my favorite thing to do. There's nothing. If you told me right now we were going to like Alaska to go snowmobiling, I'd be like, by dawn, I got to go pack.
I've never been snowmobiling, and ever since you told me that story, I'm like, it is on the list.
It is. I can't even tell you how much fun it is. I could stay in a snowmobile all day. I hate getting off of a snowmobile. I just want to pack all the food for the whole day. Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, we're doing it. We're doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Best place in St. Louis to watch improv?
Well, St. Louis Improv is downtown, so you got to go there. Yeah, I mean, here's the other thing I'll say. Just go to any open mic night too, around town, and like the Funny Bone or wherever, or Helium. It's always fun to watch new comedians or just upcoming comedians. That's my favorite thing. And there's a lot of, they may not do improv like together with people, but they're certainly interacting with the audience, and that's always fun to watch.
I love that so much. Okay, my friend, thank you so much for spending your morning with me and sharing all the news with
so much. Oh my gosh, this was so much fun. Thank you so much, Dawn. I honor the fact that you asked me to be a part of your podcast, and I do delight in every time I see you. So thank you.
Aw, thanks. Okay, take care.
Bye.